Right, I'm Miles Mansfield, welcome to my studio. I'm going to video the making of a new sculpture similar to this one. So what this one does is it's hand powered. When you go in the handle, it swipes on a phone and then it turns and looks up. Okay, so it's made from chest of drawers, sort of mahogany type of material, and then cogs which I buy, I think they're radio controlled car cogs from Amazon, and then the other stuff is just rods, bits of cutlery, whatever I find that sort of works, springs, and that's it. So yeah, so this new sculpture, I'm intending for it to hold the phone up and look up at it and take a selfie and then look back at the phone, look back down again. This is my starting thing, which is obviously, as you can see, it's a baby doll. I've already made the wooden parts for it, so it's going to sit on the edge and do that. So the next job is to cut this up into joints, same as I've done on this one, the same places: elbows, knees, shoulders, neck and hips, and then start getting metal rods and things through. So that's the next job. Right, so all these parts are cut. So now it's a case of getting the bolts and start screwing things together. I think I'm going to need either some longer bolts or possibly I'll go and get some studding. I think because these are just not quite long enough. I don't think anyway. Let's have a look. But I think I'll get some studding. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a long screw through there so that I can work out where to put these. So I think, I don't know if you can see that, about there is about right. So I'm going to go and grab a 4-inch screw. Oh, well, that was a mistake. I should have pre-drilled. Because without pre-drilling, I've split the wood. It's not critical. It was just laziness. Right. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to work out the angle that the arm will need to come up to take the selfie. So it should go from that angle to that angle, maybe there. So the nut that I'm going to use as a joint needs to be perpendicular, exactly perpendicular to the motion. So sort of that sort of angle, if you can see it. So it's going to be that sort of angle so that it can come up that way, like that, maybe that way. So I think at the moment it's just a case of weld a couple of bolts in for the arms. I think see if I can go and find some shorter bolts. These are just way too long. There's no point in using long ones and then cutting them down. So I think and aim them for the centre of the holes where the arms are supposed to go. So next will be a case of weld those in there, exactly there and there. It should be a fairly simple job, so that's what I'm going to go and do now. But as I say, shorter screws than that, or shorter bolts than that. I might have to make the arms a little bit longer. I wonder, I might even have to give it a selfie stick. I think I will. I'll give it a selfie stick so that I can bring the head up much higher. So I think that arm is right, that's really good. The other arm doesn't actually need to do anything. So the idea of this is to get everything moving first in the directions that I need for them to be right, and then after that work out how to move them by putting levers and things on. But at the moment it's a case of just getting them to move in the directions that you want them to. That looks pretty cool. I'm pleased with that. So I think what I'll probably do with this is put a nut on the end of here and then get my glue gun and fill the arm with glue and then push it into the depth that I want. And that should, and then when that sets, then because it's like quite a cool, intricate shape inside, it should sort of glue quite nicely in there. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do next. So I'll get a nut on the end if I can find one. Yeah, that'll do. And get my glue gun out. Right, what I'm doing now is working out the head. So I reckon if I get the head to turn without really, it doesn't really need to look up, as long as it turns and then tilts the head slightly sideways, that will look like a selfie. So we need to have two, shall I bring this a little bit closer? So I reckon if I weld a nut to that, oh, I just dropped it, right, I'll put that one there. If I weld a nut to the top of that screw and put the screw on top, but then the screw can turn, so that's the head turning from side to side. But what we have to do then is we'll have to put another nut at an angle that way, so that this is a much shorter screw, or much shorter bolt, and on the top of this bolt, which is much shorter, you've got another one mounted that direction, so that then the head can turn that way as well. I'll just drop the other one as well. So that's the next job, is to weld that in place and then get another screw and weld a nut vertically on the end of that. Okay, so this is, so the head can turn sideways. It'll need to be, I'll see it that way there. So it can turn, tilt, as well as turn and look at the phone. So now I'm going to drill some holes in about here to put these two rods through to hold the head in place. So that's what I'm going to do next. You should remember to leave maybe a little bit of room for the head to tilt. So I think probably drill a hole about there, I think. Let's try it. The same the other side. Like that. And then run bolt through, and the other bolt through there. There you go. It can look from side to side. So it can hold the phone out. Not sure about the way I've got this yet. I'm not that happy with it. I wonder whether the head could maybe go back a bit. So what I could do is actually mount this the other way around. I don't know, I'll try it. Like this. And that will actually move the head further back quite a bit away from the hand, because I don't want it too close to the hand, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. It's not really a selfie if you're doing it 4 inches from the phone, you know. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Okay. Okay, my only problem is, that's lovely, but he's I'm gonna have to cut the underneath the chin. Yeah, so I'll cut the underneath of the chin slightly. Be careful of this because it's rubber, and once it cuts it flies through, but getting it to do that first cut takes a bit. Oh, see, like that. Right. Yeah, I think that'll work. I don't want to do too many movements in too many different directions. Keep it on 2 axes. If you go more than 2 axes, then it's going to be really complicated to get it to move. So I think as far as this goes, maybe if I have the head slightly pitched upwards, then he picks the phone up, turns the head, and tilts his head. This is not easy. I
think as well this isn't very central.